chairman is out of state.
When I was talking to Larry, God rest his soul, before he passed away, he didn't say anything about this, or else I might not have done it, but, no. That's fine. So, my name is Peter Hemme. I'm the new member of the commission. I am filling in the role that Larry did, handling the finance. I have a background in finance, and I'm a member of Thompson Country Club, worked in the finance organization there as well, helping them, so I have a background in this area. So the budget. So we put together the 2012 budget. The assumptions behind the budget were that things were not going to dramatically improve, both in the golf industry as well as the economy. To give you a little flavor, the average golf course does about 32,000 rounds a year. We do about 25,000. Okay, so we're constantly looking to try to up the number of rounds. So we constantly have those type of challenges. And certainly with the economy, things have been tough. And of course, the snow today didn't help because we were supposed to open up on Friday, and I'm not sure that we're gonna be doing that at this point, but we'll see what happens. So the budget for 2012 essentially shows a decrease in revenue. We're planning for a decrease in revenue year over year. It's a modest decrease, but we feel it's prudent at this point to look at that. You know, the combination of the bad weather, fewer people playing golf, we've decided to reduce our revenues. We have reduced corresponding expenses as well, so that we are around flat year over year. The reduction in expenses are coming out from maintenance items at the facility. So although it's okay probably for a year to do something like that, we wouldn't want to do it continuously because it will deteriorate the asset that we currently have. But overall, we feel that the plan that we put together for 2012, is achievable, and we are feeling good about it.
The facility rental number coming off as a result of the situation with Burton at this point?
That actually is a contractual number that the rent goes down. We are having, Burton did give his 9-month notice a week ago. We're in conversations with him about whether to continue. We have a meeting in a couple days where we're going to be discussing it, whether he's asking for quite a bit of relief at this point. We're tossing it around whether or not we want to give him the relief, a portion of the relief, or put it out to bid at this point.
And your capital, you've dropped a forecast of 50.
That's correct.
Basically in the course improvement area?
In the course improvement area, we will continue to manage that to the extent that we see a little bit of upturn in revenue. We may try to invest a little more back in. As you can see, in the past, it's been around 100,000. We've tried to put in every year. But given that the revenue declined, we felt that was the best place to take it. Majority of our expenses are contractual, so it's hard to reduce those type of things.
Debt service numbers, have reviewed that with Joe and
Yep.
Right off our debt schedule.
Yeah, it's right off the debt
you're
schedule.
comfortable with,
Oh, yes, it's, yeah.
and that's the full kick-in of the turf field?
Yes, it is.
That's that, there's no bands for Hillview anymore, right?
Right.
It's all blended debt.
All permanent.
Yeah, I will tell you that currently we are probably maxed out on our debt service at this point. As I look out over the next year or two, there is not a lot of room to add additional debt service,
Right.
so.
Mr. Yule and then Mr. Prisco.
Yes.
Mr. Yule.
Hi, Peter, how you doing?
Good.
During the presentation a few years ago with regard to the turf field, I recall there was a grid shown, or a graph showing that the your debt was going down, and therefore your credit availability was going up, or your ability to get bonds was going up. That seems to have changed now. understand revenue's down, I guess that's playing a part in that. Did the turf field have a big impact on that?
Turf field had a major impact on it. We had a lot of assets that were funded that dropped off over a period of time. That's really what enabled the commission to fund the turf field. We are, as I just mentioned, we are fully up as far as our debt service is concerned today. So we would not be looking to take on debt, at least for a couple of years now, until some of the other assets are amortized and fall off.
What's the view on that? How far out are we talking about?
We're looking at least 2 years.
2 years. Because it did seem to me a more rosy picture was painted at that time when they were pushing for that beautiful field. But
No.
yeah, I
don't remember that.
They took on $2 million of
We
debt.
took on.
I understand that,
Yeah.
but the reason why they took on the $2 million of debt, they were able to, which was great, okay? I'm not challenging that, that's not my challenge. But the presentation at the time in here, when the meeting moved from here over to the gym, all right, the presentation at that time indicated that down the road, your debt is going to decrease even much more, and that would lead to other properties, land properties.
Right.
I'm forgetting the term right now, but and I don't think you weren't here at that time.
No, I
understand.
wasn't here. I will tell you that, over the next 2 years, the debt service is probably close to maxed out. That we're not really, based on what I've seen and what we're forecasting on our revenue growth, we're into 2013-14 before we can really put any sizable asset or debt service back onto our books.
Right, then to challenge myself here, if the revenue had remained the same as it had been in the past, okay, would that have alleviated the issue?
I plead ignorant. I don't know what the revenue forecast they showed you 2 years ago. I know based on what I've seen, the revenue's been flat for 3 or 4 years. There's no indication that it's gonna, unfortunately, go up anymore.
In the, on the one-on-one discussions I had with Larry Diamond on this whole issue, because I was concerned about it. And I think what was presented back then in terms of the debt falling off, there's some big pieces coming out in a few years, right? I think that's what he's referring to, is in a couple of years, they can start thinking about. I don't see anything abnormal here. I think that the reduction in revenue as a result of the economy is impacting their operation. In other words, and this is historic, what the Hillview Commission has done through the 25 odd years, is they've budgeted, and because the golf revenue is variable, I mean, it's not that predictable because of Mother Nature, and of course it's impacted also by the economy now, right? They've budgeted the amount they thought they could carry, and then they've watched that budget through the year and adjusted their expenditures to maintain a surplus when they wanted to have a surplus, and when they didn't need a surplus, burned off some of their surplus money that they had.
Yeah.
So, I don't see a change in management here or
No,
philosophy.
I will tell you as a
Well,
as far
I
as the
wasn't,
commission goes
if
at all.
that's was interpreted that way, no, that wasn't my intent at all. I was just trying to piece something together, from the turf field from a few years ago to now, and as in that meeting, I was very actively involved in the discussions, and that was one of the questions I had was, this
Right.
little graph there, and it looked better than what it is now. Obviously, the Hillview has done a super job since then, so there's no question there. I just wanted to understand that, that's
Yeah.
all.
Well, certainly when you look around and you see the number of golf courses that are closing.
Yes.
And, personally, I know from my experience at my country club, the financial problems we've had over the past few years as well.
We've had a little taste of that just the other night.
Yes, it's, the Hillview, I will tell you, from an outsider, coming in, the Hillview Commission's done a tremendous job, particularly in the last 3 to 4 years. Larry did a masterful job, you know, and hopefully I'll do as well.
Michael?
Yeah, just a naive question.
Yep.
The interest income, what produces the interest income?
Any cash that we have,
Okay, so just in a savings account, okay.
Just as a reminder, the Hillview Country Club is an enterprise fund,
Yeah.
so it operates as if it was its own business. And the budget is really revenue driven. If the revenue isn't coming in, they're gonna have to cut back on their expenditures, and that's normally what they do if the revenue doesn't come in, so that there's no deficit created.
The thing is,
Makes sense.
you get it, we adjust the expenses
Something's wrong.
and/or eat into the surplus in order to cover the expenses, and,
the surplus is lower than I would like to see it. You know, we would like to, and I think it's prudent to have at least a year's worth of debt service as a surplus. And we are eating into that right now.
Yeah, no, it's good.
I think Mike's question was more related to the fact the interest income seems low compared to what is in the surplus.
Yeah, when I looked at the ending surplus for 2007, and I see an interest income of 8,000, and then I look at it for your projected for 2012, it just sparked a little question in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just curious.
what are you getting on your savings account?
Well, I'm just saying, they must have had a great percentage back in 2007, but it couldn't have been that
Certainly.
great. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there is a little bit of
I was just curious.
upside, hopefully there.
Mr. Delaney?
Peter, I don't know if you know, Joe probably knows, $2 million for the turf field that was bonded, and what was the length of the term of the bonding for that particular project? And what's the yearly debt service on the turf field?
It was 5 years, wasn't it?
Started in September,
For how long?
and he has,
Yeah, how many?
I-
Thanks, Joe, we can go back and forth like this all night.
I don't know the years.
It's 10 years and it's 200,000 a year.
Right?
Appreciate that. All right, Joe. It was a little entertaining.
200 plus interest per year.
No, that includes interest. 155 principal and the balance interest, 200 interest, 200 all in.
On 10
Well,
years.
Oh, tennis. That's $2 million,
It's,
right?
I think
My
it's
math
15
was-
years.
I like that kind of,
Maybe it's probably longer, right?
No, because there was some cash up front, right? I didn't think they borrowed the whole thing.
It's all borrowed.
No, I think it's
The whole
all.
thing is bonded?
2 million was bonded.
Yeah, they went up to the full amount, I thought.
I'm sorry, I thought you had it. I was just curious as to what portion of this debt service was related to the turf field.
Yeah, it's longer term.
Okay, thank you very
That's
much.
what it is. It's 200,000, but it's longer term.
Thank you.
thank you. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Peter, thank you.
Peter?
Thanks for coming in.
And we have Conservation Commission, have they come in? No?
No, I was informed that they weren't gonna make it.
So we just cut the budget.
Zero it out.
It's not
Zero
much,
it out.
most of it is funded through
I'm
the
only kidding.
revolving fund anyway.
What number is conservation on the list?
Conservation is 29. It just shows the
Oh, there it is.
secretarial
I'm
clerical
looking somewhere
staff help.
And you want to go over that with?
I mean, it's
first?
literally that small.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Give me a second. 29.
Conservation is in the back, it's number
29.
29,
I remember looking at it, never mind.
very small.
I don't know why I was thinking it was a different department.
Good thing your community plan.
Yes, that's what I was thinking it was.
Yeah, CBC's coming next week.
Yeah. No, the conservation, let's move on. It's in the noise. Last one's accounting,
Next one's accounting.
13. Tab 13.
Lucky 13.
To Sony.
This would be a phone number too, Joe, number 13.
Normally at these meetings, I sit next to Greg, but I have a nasty
Not
cold,
tonight.
so I didn't want him to.
Okay.
Thank you, Joe.
I'm sure he appreciates
Yeah,
it.
he does.
I do.
But it is a little chilly.
Oh, I'll
Um,
get it.
Thanks, Mike.
Anytime.
First of all, it's difficult
See
to
what's
ask
concrete
your
floor.
departments to level fund their budgets if you don't, so, but to set a good example, we